Good evening, everybody. Welcome to episode 6 of Straight Outta Cape Town. Tonight we have an interesting lineup of guests for you guys, an interesting show. We call it the Gymkhana Files tonight. So we're going to hear from some really old hands at Gymkhana, and we're going to get to know from some very new guys in Gymkhana as well. And just as a matter of interest, on Saturday, the 20th of February, which is this coming Saturday from 2 till 7, we have our very first Gymkhana test session at Killarney. Due route for those that want to know what's happening. And will be live streamed on YouTube and on Facebook and on some other social media platforms as well. So you guys are in for an absolute awesome day on Saturday, an awesome show tonight. So we have as many as 40 entries for Saturday, and we were kind of forced to have a dual route. So that's going to be very interesting. So just also hi to all the viewers out there. I wish you guys an interesting show tonight, and I know you're going to post your comments on there. We're going to answer some of your questions, and we're just going to have a lekker chat about Gymkhana and motorsport in general. And hi, Byron, my co-host Byron. Are you somewhere there in the background? He's always there somewhere. How are you, Byron? Welcome to the show tonight again.
Yeah, how's it, Abdul? Oh, well, thanks. It's race week. I'm happy. So that's it, me. Yeah, and yeah, it's a long wait is over. I can tell you that much. And
Absolutely.
yeah, and I'm looking at some good comments tonight. I see Sarah van Jaarsveld is opening up the commenters over there with hello, everybody. So thank you for joining us, Sarah, and enjoy the show.
Yep, I'm sure the guys will enjoy the show tonight. The Vet Breitenbach also house it. So yeah, you can ask your questions. You can interact with the viewers. That's the nice part about the show. We're there to talk and answer your questions and have some fun. And like I promised our guests earlier on, we're going to start from the eldest to the youngest. Nah, I'm not gonna put Leon in that position. But let me just introduce you guys to the guests tonight. And I know Kyle Bush, the co-founder of Straight Outta Cape Town, he's in the background there. Thanks, Kyle, for all your efforts. And we really appreciate whatever you guys are doing for the show. So our first guest up is Leon Engelbrecht. Hallo Leon, hoe gaan het met jou vanaand, my swaar?
Hi Abdul, baie goed, baie dankie. Het is weer 'n voorreg om hier te wees. Ons glo ons gaan 'n lekker praatjie vanaand hê.
Yeah, I can't even concentrate on you because there's such a beautiful woman sitting next to you. Can you introduce us to that beautiful woman sitting next to us?
A real name or
No, just rather give her a real name. It's going to be safer.
Her name is Monique. Yeah, she's my wife for some time now. The only one that I know of. So yeah, yes. I think I only have children with her, if I remember right. But yeah, no, that's. And she navigates for me sometimes.
Okay, so she's not the one that looks after your kids, eh?
Yes, that's the one.
No,
yeah.
Hello, Nikkie.
I must tell you, she gets an attitude sometimes. I don't know if she's getting it from the kids or what's the story, but yeah.
No, it's good to have you guys on the show. Leon was the 2018 Gymkhana champion. You guys are going to see him on Saturday in action with his 2-liter 16-valve turbocharged Golf, and Nikkie with Herbie. Herbie's an interesting car. Came as a stock standard bug, not stock standard anymore. There's a couple of upgrades been done to that car, but you guys are going to hear from her because she's an awesome driver as well. Okay, and then Leon is also my navigator. Unfortunately, Leon, my car's not going to be ready for Saturday. There's a few things I'm waiting for, but don't worry. Going to be there for the second Gymkhana, hopefully, of the season. Anyhow, awesome. The next guest there is, I just want to introduce you guys to Nick Berger, one of the 86 clubs. He's originally comes from Johannesburg, but it's his first time in Cape Town driving the first Gymkhana on Saturday. How's it, Nick? Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up? How's it going, man? How are you?
Lekker. It's nice to have you here. Nice to have you in Cape Town. How long are you in Cape Town now?
No, man. I think there's a slight confusion. I'm a born and bred Cape Town baby.
Okay.
Yeah, I go to Joburg a lot for work. Hence doing the Gymkhanas up in Johannesburg for work. But I live here.
Okay.
So yeah.
So that's quite clever. So you actually use a company vehicle to do Gymkhana in Johannesburg. I like that. That's clever thinking, actually.
100%.
Okay. Well, welcome to our show, and I know you're going to have an awesome time on Saturday. It's just going to be, it's an awesome group of guys and girls that just get together to have loads and loads of fun. And
I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Byron, you got a lot of comments to catch up. But before we get to the comments, let me just introduce the other guests. We also have, this was actually quite interesting. I got a call from this gentleman the other day and asked him what's his name, and told me his name is Nian. And I said, what's your surname? And he says, Nian du Toit. So I said, well, do you drive Clubman? So he says, not really. I said, well, I used to drive, I remember a gentleman in Clubman by the name of Nian du Toit. He used to drive a yellow Alpha. And he said, yeah, that's my dad. So what can I say? Second generation, Nian du Toit, welcome to our show tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's really lucky to have you here. I mean, you come from you haven't driven a Gymkhana before.
No, I've never been on a Gymkhana course. I'm not quite sure what I'm getting into, but it's just fun, I guess.
It's loads of fun. And the good thing is you can put your wife in the seat next to you as a navigator. And if anything goes wrong, you just always blame the navigator. It's never the driver. That's one of the rules of Gymkhana. You never blame the driver. So if you go off the circuit, you blame the navigator.
Sounds like a good plan.
I just want to check with Kyle there if Waseem is in the lobby there. Okay, Kyle, maybe you must just let me know when Waseem comes into the lobby because he wasn't. Oh, okay. So Waseem is not feeling too well. So I think there was going to be a little ding-dong battle between Nick and Waseem with the 86 Club. But I think he's taken a bit of leave there because he's got to be ready for Saturday, eh? Because you can't have a ding-dong battle with nobody. So hopefully he gets well for Saturday. Byron, over to you.
Well, I see here Robin David Kruger just came through with a comment now. Said, hey, Abdul, Dad's MG is available for Saturday if you want to drive it. So there's an invite as well. Or is Abdul getting some good invites to drive? Unlike people like me, don't get invited, But,
you know what, I have a kind of unwritten rule. I don't like to drive other people's cars. I must be, ever since I've been racing, I really don't like, because if it breaks, I got to pay for it. And I don't, that's the only, if my own car breaks, it's fine. It's fine.
I share the sentiment there, Abdul, but going to some of our other comments, Zaid, Uncle Figo Creel, one of our former guests on the show as well. Salam, salam, evening, mense. And then I see Ashfaq Dawood, also a former guest and very big fan of the show, and referring to Leon and Monique. And Ashfaq says she drives better than Leon.
And by the way, Uncle Figo is our commentator for Saturday because Ashfaq is gonna be not navigating. He's gonna be running the other route. I'll be on the one route to sort of get it sorted, and he'll be on the other route. So Uncle Figo's our commentator for Saturday, and he comes from a drags background, so he's gonna be a good commentator for Saturday. So anyhow, let's get back to the show. Just go back to Leon and Nikkie there. Listen, Leon, I mean, tell us how you started Gymkhana, and Nikkie as well, because I mean, you guys, it's just lekker to see a husband and a wife actually compete in the same sport and at that motorsport. So just tell us, how did you guys get started in this game?
Yeah, it's been some time, some while that we're driving. I mean, me and Marius, my partner that we had with the panel shop, we built the car. And then the wife started nagging. They also wanted to join the sport. So we actually built a race car for them, which was also a Mark II Golf, and had loads of fun in that car. I mean, me and Nikkie drove that car, and you won't believe that was a 1600, and the orange Golf that we built that time was a 2-liter. And we did very comparing times with those two cars. And that's about 2008, I think. That was the year 2009. And I must just warn for all the competitors, to have your wife as a navigator, there's no better therapy. You must go for counseling.
It's the other way around. It's having your husband.
Well, it also checks how strong your relationship is, eh?
Definitely.
Abdul, I must just tell you this one thing. So the pink Golf, that it was pink. And the one race in Vredenburg, I will never forget it. So the side drafts was a little bit as side drafts is. And so we started a bit on the pull away. And every time she pulls away, and I said, but rev it. Now I'm pulling the handbrake up. I'm waiting for it to launch now. And nothing happens. And yes, the next moment I told her, listen here, if you want to come and shopping, just tell me. We're on a racetrack now. You better drive it now. It was the longest route of my life. In the middle of the track, she wants to get out of the car. She's done. I'm like, please, baby, just get in. I'm sorry. Yeah. So yes, we had our fun times. So I must tell you.
Listen, I've got to tell you guys this. You know that when we started now with the Gymkhana, when I started with the Gymkhana, I didn't have my own car, so he let me drive his BMW. And as you guys know, that's
the black one,
monster car. Yeah,
the black one.
That's a monster to drive. So so I had the privilege to drive it. So he's next to me in the navigator seat. So with the previous Gymkhana, there was a turn quite close to the wall. And he was sitting next to me like, Demir. No, it's got its challenges, but we love it.
No, but you know what? You know, I mean, I met Leon a long time ago at I haven't been doing Gymkhana for that long, but I met Leon, I think it was in Ceres. It was the first Gymkhana I did in Ceres. And we kind of just hit it off. And it was an app. And consequently, Leon has been teaching me a lot about Gymkhana. And consequently, he's my navigator. But we never have these fights in the car, Leon, that you and Nikki have. I wonder why. So say my nuts me.
He doesn't keep his mouth shut. That's a problem.
It's very easy. You listen to what I say. You don't backchat. So, yes. I mean, sorry. I stopped my Google account because I've got Nikki. You know, if I have to ask anybody, she knows it all, Bruce. So, yeah, it's a challenge.
Oh, my word. That's interesting. Anyhow, ons gaan nou by julle uitkom. Okay, I think Kyle has got a little video he wants to play of Herbie. So, Kyle, you can go ahead with Herbie there and show us what Nikki's going to be driving on Saturday. Okay, pardon? Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to some comments, or do you want me to comment on the video?
No, comment on the one of Nadia Singh there.
Okay, taking a look at Nadia Singh. We need a GoPro in Leon and Nikki's car so that we can hear the commentary. I agree 100%. That's when you actually put everything into the ultimate viewing experience. That's my...
You guys are going to start a fund for us for marriage counseling.
No, but you know what? By the way, Nick Berger, the following guest about the 86, he's a marriage counselor. So Nick, let us talk a little bit about your Gymkhana experience and So
you reckon I should open up a marriage counseling practice?
Absolutely, especially at the Gymkhana. So you have a Toyota 86, right? Tell us a little bit about the car before we get into the details.
There's not too much to say. Little bit of minor modifications on the car, some breather mods, and some handling modifications, suspension, bigger wheels, grippier tires, so on and so forth. Otherwise, yeah, it's just run of the mill, hey?
Like, so it's your first Gymkhana in Cape Town, first Gymkhana with these guys and these girls. Are you looking forward to Saturday's event?
I can't wait. I've been frothing at the bit for most of last week, counting the days this week. So yeah, no, I think it's going to be an absolute riot. I think it's going to be tons of fun, and all I want to do is just make Waseem look silly.
Okay. I think he's actually starting to rest from now, already getting his energy levels back there. So I think he's like really, yeah. That's why he couldn't come on the show tonight. But Nick, where did your love for motorsport actually start? I mean, it didn't start. Where did you become involved with motorsport, or your love for it?
Oh man, ages ago. Like obviously, I'm a late 80s boomer. So when I was growing up in my early teens, Fast and Furious was coming out. The whole underglow 90s sort of theme. And I just absolutely fell in love with modifying cars and racing, and just getting as involved as possible. So yeah, and then of course I work in the motor industry, so that helps a lot. So yeah, it's just a huge passion.
Absolutely. What do you do in the motor industry, if I might ask? Or which company do you work for?
I don't know. I'm afraid to say. Although, seeing as you don't.
Probably Ford. You probably don't work for Ford.
No. Shit. Listen, you don't need to indicate a Gymkhana, right?
You don't need to
indicate at Gymkhana.
No.
Indicate.
No.
Great.
No.
Okay, cool. I work for BMW, so just getting that out the way.
Oh my word! Actually, BMW they make quite exciting Gymkhana cars. Leon used to come with the M5, the V10. It's an awesome little beast. That thing was absolutely awesome. Awesome.
It was actually one of the very first M cars I ever drove, and that's when I fell in love with the brand as well.
You haven't actually driven Leon's V10. That thing is a beast. No. It's obviously modified, but it's crazy. That thing's maybe Carl has got a video there of one of the previous Gymkhanas with a V10. Maybe you can bring it up later on. Let me know if you can find it, Carl. Okay, so you belong to the 86 Club, am I correct?
Yeah.
Ah, wait, here we've got the video of the V10. Carl, you can play it. It's fine.
Here we go.
Leon Dasemir, ik kan me zien Dasemir, man. Wat is hier met jou? Yeah, wow, going on to
and the best is, sorry, that was my wife driving. I didn't even drive that car.
I wouldn't put it past Nikkie. I wouldn't put it past Nikkie to drive that car like that. You know what? Nian du Toit, amazing. Like I said, your dad, it was a long time ago. I can't even remember how old your dad is. But I remember the yellow Alpha that your dad used to drive. I mean, yeah, that thing used to fly. And I mean, it was quite interesting when you phoned me and said you want to drive Gymkhana, and we kind of, realized that you're Nian's son. Weird. I mean, that's crazy. But anyhow, tell us a little bit about your racing pedigree. I mean, obviously your dad raced. So, I mean, how did you obviously got into racing because of your dad, am I correct?
Yeah, I don't think I had much of a choice to get involved in racing. I don't want to bore you guys with the whole history, but I raced since I was probably 4 years old. I raced kiddie cross, I raced go-karts, I raced slot cars, RC cars, motocross bikes, basically anything over the last 50 years. Racing all, that's my life. That's what I do for the race cars. So, yeah.
So that's actually quite interesting, because all I'm going to tell you is when you do your first Gymkhana, please do not blame me when you're going to come and do the second and the third and the fourth and the fifth and the sixth and the seventh, because I come from a circuit racing background, and I came to the first Gymkhana, and I thought, this is easy peasy. Trust me, this is not easy peasy. This is way beyond what I ever expected. But it was so much fun, and the guys and the girls are so lekker, and that's what actually kept me there. It was one big family, really, absolutely one big family. So, what made you come and drive the Gymkhana? What made you realize that maybe I can try Gymkhana now?
Yeah, so I've been racing very competitive series like Polo Cup or GTI Challenge, which is always the equipment is supposed to be equal, and it's really tough to be a winner in a class like that. And I've like I said, been racing that sort of formula for the last 10 years. And I've sold my GTI Challenge car and decided to move on to something else that's maybe not quite as stressful and a bit more fun. And one of the cars I bought recently was a turbocharged E36 BMW. But it was a road car that we stripped out and started building a clubman's car. I've got a workshop at Kalani, and I prep race cars. So I built this to possibly sell it or whatever, and got the car going. And I think Yuri Swart, he was on a group, and he said he's doing this Gymkhana, and I asked him to join, if I can join, because this car might be a lot of fun around the Gymkhana track. So that's how we got in touch.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Turbocharged E36 rear-wheel drive. You are going to have, and actually he did contact me. Yuri Swart contacted me, but he's driving stock cars that night. So he's going to drive stock cars because we in the afternoon. So he's going to be driving, and he won't make it obviously for the Gymkhana, but I must definitely keep in touch. Actually, you must keep in touch with him for the next one. So just make a diarise note of that. And just the interesting thing here, I see you drove. Tell us about the RC cars. What is that?
Yeah, so I grew up here in Para North. Just down the road is where the Izak Soccer Club is. A RC. And on Sundays, as a kid growing up, I could hear the commentary. So I would wander over there, and that's probably me being 8 years old. Back then, you could walk around when you were that young. And I started begging my dad for RC cars. My dad could never understand why I wanted the RC car. I go-kart at home and dirt bikes. And still to this day, I love RC cars. I think it's an amazing way of teaching or learning about suspension, because you can change shock absorbers or anti-roll bars or squeak or die or droop very quickly and do a lot of testing. Where if you want to do something like on a full-scale car, you're either running the suspension or you're putting in a lot of time to change springs or anti-roll bars or, like I say, droop or whatever. And I've just never stopped. I've raced nationals. I'm a South African national champion in the on-road stuff, and then in the off-road stuff till very recently I was very involved. I was the chairman for South African what they call it, the Radio Drivers Association, and I've been the SA champion in that as well, which is basically off-road nightmare cars. Yeah.
Jesus, this is like very interesting. I think Kyle has got a video there of the RC cars. Kyle, want to play the video? Yes, that thing is fast. Sure, that thing's fast.
Yeah, that's the track at Barrow.
Barrow, right behind.
Yeah, amazing. And so that's like the premier class they got there. They call it modifieds. The cars weigh about 1.2 kilograms, and it's got 1.5 kilowatts. So power to weight, it's insane. And that car can do 120 kilometers an hour. And it's a very, very competitive class. And we have tire warmers, and we have data loggers, and we have different compound tires, different bodies, wings. It's extremely involved. I often joke to people. Yeah.
Yes, you saying you often joke to people?
I often joke with people. I say it's harder to win an RC championship or national than it is to win a main circuit championship, because at the main circuit, there's maybe 7 guys that's got the funds and the know-how and mechanic behind them that can actually be competitive over a whole season. But when you go to one of these RC clubs, there's probably 40 guys that can expect, afford to run a class like a class competitively, and they can spend a lot of time practicing. And exercise is good. It's similar to sim racing, where the people are putting a lot of time, and you can with RC cars, it's affordable. Where obviously with full scale cars, you can only get to the track one day a week, and even if you do, the tires and the brakes and the tire, everything involved is very expensive.
That's very interesting. You know what? RC, maybe we can keep that RC cars for another show, like a whole show dedicated to RC cars. Actually, I just thought of a very easy way of letting the other guys lose with the RC cars. Very easy. Just take out their batteries that control the remote control. They can't go anywhere. Yeah, that's not a joke, okay? Byron, any comments there, my friend?
I got a good comment here from Ashfaq, and he says, I know Nian since he was 15 years old. It is great to see how he has progressed over the years. He is Formula Libre champion, a multiple GTI Challenge champion, a real talent, nickname Mousman.
Okay, we're going to talk about that nickname. We're going to talk about that nickname later on, Byron. So just hold that thought. You're going to ask him, but I don't know where they came on that name, but anyhow. Getting back to Leon and Nikkie there. Leon, you have this 20 valve. Well, you didn't start driving the 20 valve Golf. I mean, when I met you, you were driving the Mini that you developed and drove together with Rafiq, right? So how does what made, well, you decided to get the Golf, and how do the two cars compare, the Golf to the Mini?
Yeah, there's a lot of difference. The Mini is up to standard electronic steering. I mean, suspension is upgraded to the best. Well, HR shocks and coil springs, and we fitted the best on the market with the LS, all that kind of stuff. So we wanted to build something that was a challenge car or challenging car, and it actually did much better than we expected. That car is magic around the track. So I knew the day when me and Rafiq said, okay, he's going to go his way, I'm going to go my way. I'm going to have to get a car that is really, really competitive. So obviously I bought the 16 valve Golf. So the Mini was a bit restricted on power. I mean, 190 kilowatts was plus minus our most power that we can get out of that engine. The Golf is making like 300 kilowatts, you understand? So it's almost double the power. But now it's from new generation to old generation. You won't believe that the difference in handling, the difference in driving, approaching the car. No, it's a total different ballgame. I love the challenge. Every time I get off the Gymkhana barn, there's some new developments making, and slowly but surely it's getting better and better and better. I mean, so I'm very excited for this event coming up. We did some for the first time. I've got real brakes on the car, so we'll see how it's gonna handle. So very surprising to see what's the outcome gonna be.
It's gonna be interesting because you made a few suspension changes as well to that car, I believe, eh?
Yeah, small changes, but hopefully the traction is a big problem for me with the power that it's making. So we detuned the motor a bit, to make it a little bit less power. So we're making about 250 kilowatts now, give and take. Hopefully I can put the traction onto the tar or on the road now, and we'll spin a little bit less. So, but if the handbrake also works like I want it to work, then the drive style is going to be much similar to the Mini's one. So, yes.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing that. We're looking forward to seeing that car on Saturday. And just as a matter of interest, did you get some tires for that car?
No.
So, she didn't have tires, Sparko.
No. I found Gunther as well. They don't have. So, yeah, tires is a bit of a problem now. But I'm going to use what I've got. So, let's make the best of it.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing that Mini. Nikkie, Herbie, vertel ons 'n bietjie, wat het jou hart begeer om Herbie te koop? Okay, wag. Wat het jou hart begeer om vir Leon te sê om Herbie te koop.
But I honestly tell you, there's Afrikaans saying, Herbie was a vloekskoot. I didn't really plan on buying a Beetle. Like I said previously, Leon gave me the opportunity to drive with the M5, but it's a very big car to handle, so it's not really something that you can compete with the other cars. It's just it's too big. So and the power it's insane. So we went away for a weekend, and I just decided I wanted a car. So I sat him down and told him, listen, we've got to talk. And he was like, that's never a good thing. And I told him I want a Gymkhana car. And then we started shopping. He actually wanted me to buy a Mini. He and Quentin of QTech Performance both tried to persuade me to get a Mini, but I didn't want a Mini. I felt I want something different. And for some reason we ended up with the Beetle, and it's just magic. It's we were quite amazed with what we got out of that car, stock standard still. Without doing much to it. We did a bit of software and that kind of thing, but it's magic on the track. It's handling like, you won't believe it. It's amazing.
Amazing. So we're looking forward to seeing that car on Saturday as well, obviously. And we'll talk a little bit about the upgrades that you guys did to the cars a little bit later on. Byron, anything that you want to check up there, or check any comments or ask any questions that you have that I haven't thought of?
Well, actually, I got one question over here, and everybody else's consensus. Emil Assure says, what's the most competitive car in Gymkhana? And that can be quite something to go about. We have quite a number of big competitors.
Well, it depends.
In the field.
I think it depends on. That's a very. It's a vast question.
It is a vast question.
Because there's different classes in Gymkhana, as you guys know. Byron, maybe you can explain about the classes a little bit, and then take us, from which cars actually we attract in Gymkhanas. Maybe that's a good idea.
Well, I think the great thing about what we do with Gymkhana is that we're all across the board. You can basically bring anything and come in Gymkhana, whether it's a race car, bringing old race cars, or bringing your actual stock standard road car. That's the whole idea. And then, of course, the classes go based on mostly cubic capacity as well of the cars. So, for instance, my 1300 Toyota Tazz, which I'll be driving on Saturday, it's more on the standard side, and that will be a Class D entry because it's a 1300. So if you move up a class, then you'll move over the 1600 cc and then up and up and up until then. So I think the great idea here is to bring anything, and it doesn't matter what tires you're also running as well. Some guys and girls would prefer to run slicks. I still run a standard road tire as well. Different ones on the front and to the back, but that's the idea of it.
And I just want to add a little bit to that, Byron, is that anything wider than an 8-inch tire or a 205 tire automatically puts you into the open class, which is Class G.
Open class, yes.
Yeah, so Class G is anything. All-wheel drive, turbocharged.
Rotaries, you name it.
You name it, supercharged, whatever. Or big tires, anything over 205s or 8-inch, you're going to Class G, and then all the other classes, obviously. So maybe Leon can tell us a little bit about, that was a good question there. The most competitive cars in Gymkhana. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question, I must be honest.
Yeah, you see, I must say, with the Gymkhanas that we're having now, with a free-flowing route, it makes it an equal field for everybody. I mean, if we've seen what the Subarus did now, I mean, that Subaru is awesome. Kyle with his 350Z, that thing is amazing. I mean, normally the front wheel drives had a lot of advantage on the Gymkhana, but that's all been equaled now. So if you've got a car that's making traction, and it doesn't have to make this world's power, it's if it handles and it drives and the driver can handle it, I promise you, you've got a competitive car. Because at this stage, with the Mini, the Golf, the Subaru, there's so many cars now, the 350Z, that is all top notch. You understand? They all set the bar. They all do awesome times and consistent times, and that's what making the sport growing. And I must say, very nice. I mean, even Fani with his bucky, the Master 2-liter 16-valve bucky, Gunther with his Mark 1 Golf.
Gunther, definitely.
Those are all, I mean, top 5 vehicles, and I mean, Gunther is making like 93 kilowatts, but he's a top 5 competitor, and because of his drive style, you understand. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think Saturday is going to be awesome. There's going to be quite a lot of cars, especially Saki with his Toyota Corolla as well. I mean, if that thing makes traction, there's not going to be a lot of guys that's going to catch him. The 86 as well, in the new 86 class that they're going to start now, and we're very excited about that. So yeah, Nick, Saki is the only one. Saki is the only one to catch. No, he's quite good. So that's what I'm saying. The play field is so wide, and the opportunities for you to make a difference and to adapt your drive style and to be a better driver is endless. Especially Nian. I haven't seen his car yet. I think I saw some photos or two about that his car, and it looks like a bit of a monster. So Nian, I've got a Z3, also with the 328 that are also turbocharged. I built a complete stroker motor for it now, so it's almost done. So I'm going to come and join you one of these days. So yeah, but just for entrance sake, Nian, what power are you making now, plus minus?
I guess you can, depends what dyno you take it to. But
technical, okay.
So the dyno I usually use is the one at First Performance, which is in Kalani Gardens, and that shows power on the wheels, and it shows 250 kilowatts on the wheels. But I can also take it to the dyno at the track, and there it shows 350 kilowatts. So depending what number you want to see, it's 0.7 bar boost. And usually at a bar, you can sort of double the power. Normally it makes 145, so it puts it around the 170 kilowatt, which is basically what we're seeing at the 250 at the wheels, Yeah.
No,
but Nick, don't despair. Nick, don't despair, because don't worry, even your car pushed out very little kilowatts. That 86s, they handle well. They designed for going through those courses. So don't worry too much. The guys with all the kilowatts, they still got to put the power down, eh? I mean, I used to drive a 1300. I was Byron. I mean, it was lekker.
There you go.
It was lekker. I just want to get Kyle to play a video there of the golf. Kyle, I think you have a video ready of the golf there quickly. We will come back to Nick and ask him a few questions about the route.
Oopsie.
Yes. That thing just in the limiter all the time. In the limiter. You just hear the boost all the time. Trust me. I don't ever wish I was a piston in that car.
Abdul, I must tell you, the drive at Killarney and the drive to church on Sunday morning sounds exactly the same. The only problem is that car's normal aspirated. It's my wife the whole time. So yeah.
And you know
her dumbbell is on the ball, bro.
I remember you telling me that, and she's only on 0.5 boost. Imagine you turned up that boost. Nick,
Abdul, sorry. I just want to get to Nian's car. I mean, just to show how competitive it can be. I mean, if he's going to put some decent tires on there with the power that he's making, I mean, he's going to give those 350s and all that kind of cars quite a good run for their money, because if the package is there, and that we'll see on Saturday. I mean, he's a very good driver, as I can hear, and from experience. So yeah, very excited, Nian. yeah.
I think my
One
biggest
team.
problem will be that the car is probably going to be a bit stiff. If I looked at that video with the Golf, you guys are obviously running relatively soft front shocks to get the car to roll in quickly. And, my car's got like 1,000-pound springs in the front, so it's really hard. And I'm already sitting here thinking that I need to raise the back to get it to come around and maybe even go to softer springs in the front. But, I've got slicks on it. But obviously, if the slick is cold, it might not be great. And also, if it just spins the back, it might be that it understeers with the cold front tires. But I really don't know what I'm getting into, but I'm sure I'll get it muscled around somehow. Maybe it just pushes the nose, but we'll clutch it or something. And
Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah.
Just have fun. Our motto is having fun. That's the big thing there. I mean, there's a whole lot of stories about guys that have come to Gymkhana for the first time, and it was completely disastrous. But you know what? They came again, and it was so much fun. And when you get the hang of a Gymkhana, you know what? It's so amazing what you can learn, especially with a navigator. That's even more exciting. When you have a navigator, that's even more. It's a team effort, but it's brilliant. Kyle, I think you have a video there of Nian somewhere, you said? Nian, what caused that?
It's an Audi R8.
My word, I love that sequential box. I mean, I just love it. I love the sound of a sequential box. It's amazing. 1 minute 11. It was Kilani.
Yeah, so it's an Audi R8. It's a space frame. So the owner of the car got the plans, the blueprints of the LMR cars from back in 2006. And you won't believe it, there's ook built a chassis in his garage at home. And he bought all the body parts from VW Motorsport, the Audi body, bumpers, from the outside you would say it's a factory car. And he's using the 4.2 liter FSI engine with 2 Garrett turbos. So it's producing like 650 kilowatt, like 1,200 Newton meters of torque. And it's scary. It feels like it's going to wheelie when you go down the back straight. And it's an extremely fast car. It's got ABS and traction control, but even with all those stuff, you can see I short shift and I give it a lot of respect. It's also worth a lot of money. Yeah.
But I mean, the power to weight ratio must be insane. I mean, it's a space frame.
Yeah, look, it's a heavy car. It's a lot of car there, big wheels, big brakes. So it's still around 1,200 kilograms, if not slightly more. But it's Gymkhana, I can see, is all about power to weight and getting from the one cone to the next. But this, you can carry a bit of weight if you got that huge amount of horsepower. It's straight for long enough, and you can make the difference. And look, this is not an endurance car. This is absolutely a sprint car. So it's big horsepower, big brakes, lots of tires, and after 10 laps, you replace it all.
Yes. At a huge cost, I would assume. Yeah.
Yeah, the tires on that car is probably, just under 50 grand for a set of tires, and you wouldn't do more than 30 laps on a set of tires.
My whole car cost me that. I can drive it for like 5 years.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah, no, you were saying it's interesting, eh?
It's a great car. I mean, that owner of the car reckons you can rebuild that car for around 600,000 rand, excluding the labor cost, which he's done most of it himself. But if you, the Bosch computers management system is probably 120 grand. So if you look at the rest of it, it's actually not bad. Quite good bang for buck. But obviously still a crazy amount of money just to have in a toy. And look, that just means you built it. The running the car is the expensive bit.
Yeah. I think the exciting part is obviously for him to have built the car in the first place. It was exciting in his garage. I mean, that's impressive.
He's a very impressive man. His brother used to own or run Thunder City, where all the jets flew from. Mike Beachhead, owner of this car. Paul Beachhead.
Is it Paul Beachhead's car?
Paul Beachhead, yes.
Paul used to driving Clubman with us. Yeah, he always had fantastic cars. I mean, I remember Paul from Clubman days.
So Paul also had a four-wheel drive Jetta.
Yes, correct.
The four-wheel drive Jetta also a lot of fun.
He had a touring car as well. I remember racing Clubman's a touring car as well.
That's also correct.
Well, if you see Paul, you must tell him hi. I haven't seen him for years. Yeah. Byron, anything you want to comment on that you have that I missed out somewhere along the line?
Well, I just want to give one over here from Waseem Parker, who would be on the show with us tonight. He says, hi there, gents. Apologies for not being able to make it, having health issues. Going to the hospital for a checkup tomorrow. Hopefully everything okay and it's nothing serious, and I'll come beat Nick on Saturday.
Okay.
There we go.
Nick, let's go straight to Nick. Let's go straight to Nick. Come on, what are you going to say about that?
First and foremost, can I just say one thing for Nick? I love this comment that came through right now. A few minutes ago from Stephen Thompson. Nick's pile of Speed and Sound mags is as tall as he is.
Okay, so hold on.
Says a lot.
Either that means I've got a lot of Speed and Sounds, or I'm really short.
Yeah. So if you want to maybe just if you can stand up, we can check what is the. No, I'm just joking. You have to stand up. Nick, there's two things you gotta answer us now. Number one is that comment of Waseem. I don't know. He's already stressed out. It's a couple of days before the race. He's already stressed out. I don't know what I'm going to say about that.
Look at him. And then, he's so stressed he popped a lung.
And he hasn't even got boost. I mean, there's not even a turbo on it. Yeah, man. Anyway, coming back to the route. Nick, you guys have got the route. So there's two routes, obviously. I designed two routes for you guys. What do you think about the routes?
I got a headache after looking at the second one.
Okay. So we're gonna ask once you've done, we're gonna ask Leon to maybe take you guys through a little bit of not training, but for the new guys, what is the easiest way to actually there's the route. So maybe you should engage with Leon, Nick. And Leon can, because Leon taught me basically everything I know about Gymkhana, because I came from a circuit racing background, really. Yeah. So Leon, maybe for the new guys, what can you suggest to them? I mean, you know the routes, obviously.
Yeah, Abdul, it's very difficult because it all depends on draft style. I mean, if you're gonna come there just to play around, I mean, then it's a different story. But if you're gonna come there to put some time on the board and to actually compare your driving run after run, then most important thing is cornering speed. Everybody makes the mistake to enter too hard, so they overshoot the corners. The shorter you can make your route, the quicker the time. So a lot of people now, there's a very technical point, time versus obviously cornering. It doesn't help you stop at the cone and then pull away. So you must keep momentum. So for the first, if it's your first time, I would say, you know what, first learn the route. There's nothing more I want to say, frustrated if you know you drove wrong, because then you're all, you're upset already. So you want to try and get that extra time in to get a better time, and then you make a lot of mistakes each time that you drive. So be calm. Get in, especially you and your navigator. Make sure that you understand how they're going to explain the route to you. Normally when I say right, it's supposed to be left. So I'll show that side, or this side. You know how it goes. So obviously, and communication is key. The driver wants that just to hear from his navigator. Listen here, the next one, we're going to go outside, turn to your right, 180 at the front. So to obviously you want to line up your car for your next move. So that's where the key comes in. So experience plays a role a bit, to learn your navigator as well. But that's what I'm saying. Communication is key. In the Gymkhana, you can be the best driver in the world. If you're not going to drive the track right, you're not going to get points. Your time is not going to be up to standard or comparable, so that's what I'm saying. So, for me and Nikkie, Nadia said you want the GoPro. It's bad, huh? Yes, she screams at me the whole time. And it's like, not that I don't know the route, but I just think she wants to scream at me. So it makes it irritating sometimes, because her hand is in front of me where I must see where I must drive. So, but that's how she navigates for me. And that gives me a bit of security, because I know if I'm out of the corner, because I promise you that first 180, that whole track looks equal. You don't know which way is left or right, and out of experience. So you must concentrate. So if the navigator is up to standard, then the drivability of the driver is much better already. And the confidence is key.
Yeah.
And that's what you want.
Am I correct in saying that that the driver should also know the route?
Yes.
Both of you don't just depend on your navigator. The driver also needs to know the route, and if the navigator is kind of just to point you in the right direction, because when you trying to change gears, changing down, using the handbrake, turning the wheel all at the same time, you kind of miss it sometimes. Byron, you've been driving Gymkhana a long time as well. Any ideas for the new guys? Just with the routes, what do they do? I'll give him some advice after, because I drew up the route, so I can tell him what to do. But just from your perspective.
I don't have the experience, I think, of Leon, but I go along with what he says over there. And my philosophy over years, I go by 4-time Formula One world champion Alain Prost, and I'm going to quote him now. And this is my philosophy. He says, "When I look fast, I am not smooth, and I'm going slowly. But when I look slow, I am smooth and going fast." So what happens is, it's all about smoothness. In my mind, what happens is, if you're really going to go and try and outbrake yourself, if you're really trying to go and throw yourself into corners and so on, you're going to come out and you're going to waste, you're going to lose a lot of time. So rather, what happens is, don't compromise the exit of the corner. Rather maybe brake a little earlier and get a good flow through the corner, and then get on the accelerator quite nicely. I think a lot of guys and girls, they want to actually brake incredibly late, and they actually compromise the exit of the corner. And that's just my way. Like I said, I'm not the most experienced out there, but that's my philosophy, I think, of going it. So rather than trying to be, Dan Dare on the brakes and being the big smoky hero, I think rather, a little bit more conservative and a little bit more easy through the corners, I think, is the best, carrying speed.
Look, I've got a couple of interesting comments, and I like Zaki's one. Zaki Groenewald, they say, hang dit net, Boeta. In other words, hang your gat uit. That's what he's trying to say. And you know what? At the end of the day, I think it's just about fun. It can become very complicated if you overthink it. But if you just, just go there and have fun. And you'll get the hang of it. The routes are very logical. The top left route is actually quite easy. It's a couple of going through the cones a couple of times, turning to the right, around the pole, back to the top, turn around, come back and doing the same thing. So that's just to get you kind of, get to know your car. The one in the bottom is actually also very, very logical. If you think about it, there's a couple of figure 8s at the end there, and the others is all quite simple. If you think about it, just follow it logically. But the idea is to have fun. And then there's Shalka, hi guys. And then there's a comment, Zaki Groenewald, lekker race mice. He's obviously talking about our friend Nian du Toit there. So, Nikki, coming back to you, Herbie, tell us a little bit. I don't know. I mean, I know you're actually the one that tells Leon how to set the cars up, right? What have you guys done to that car? I mean, it was stock standard. I saw the comment, it was stock standard. It was quite impressive as a stock standard car. But then you guys consequently did some software upgrades and a couple of other things. What have you guys actually done to the car for this next race?
We actually haven't done much to it. We did a software flush on the gearbox, and yeah, that's basically it. We might we'll see the body roll, but we thought about doing the suspension, but I don't think it's going to be necessary. On this stage, it's actually handling quite all right as it is.
Yes. And that car is a 1400 turbocharged and supercharged.
Yeah.
Yes.
CFSI. Okay, so it's got a bottom end grunt that you want. It's got the torque at the bottom as well. There's no turbo lag because of the supercharger, I would assume.
Yes. And
Very interesting little car.
Yes, it
Very
is.
interesting.
I said it was quite amazed. We were quite amazed with what we got out of it. Because we didn't really do. I wanted the car. We didn't do much homework on it. I like the car. And we were quite amazed on what it turned out to be. Leon loves driving it as well.
Well, he drove the car a couple of times the last time, and he wasn't doing quicker
He's going
times.
to break it, so I don't want him driving it.
I agree with you. Just put him in the navigator and scream at him. Yes, absolutely, I agree with you. In fact, when you put on his seatbelt, someone put a little bit of that duct tape over his mouth as well.
No, he drives very aggressive, so shame, poor Herbie. Ek kry jammer as Leon hom ry.
Wat kan ons sê? Hy's 'n goeie man. Hy's 'n goeie man. Carl, you have a video. Yeah, baie goeie man. He's my navigator. I have to say that he's a good guy. Believe me, he gives me good advice. Carl, you have a video for us? You want to play there of Nikkie? Interesting. Baron, any comments you wanna get through there before we go on to the next point in the story, the Gymkhana story?
I think Nadia Singh actually had a comment that I see Carl highlighted over here. It's like, this is why we need some in-car footage. Carl, please make a plan. That would actually be a good idea. We used to have it with Donnie Berger, eh? He used to do some in-car footage over there always. And I know, he disappeared off the scene. I know he wasn't having very good health. Hope he's doing well. But we used to have some great DVD footage. And that would be something to have in the cars again. And Carl just said over here, we definitely need it, Nadia. We're going to do it. I'm going to do it. So Carl, we always can look to Carl, and Carl will always make things work for us.
Okay. Cool. So we have a couple of minutes, like 3 or 4 or 5 minutes left. Actually, I'm going a bit overtime here. So I would just want to maybe get a few of the last comments from each and every one of you. Maybe starting off with Nian. Nian, you, like I said, you've driven a whole lot of different cars. What do you expect to do on Saturday?
So I think it's always important to get the basics right. Like the more experienced guys said, for me, I always teach people to at least do the lines right. So you must apex. If you go so fast that you miss the apex, then either you need to reassess where you're braking or you need to brake better. So for me, it will be just to be patient and learn the track and do the basics right. Do the hairpins and the cornering as tight as I can. and where I can use the power, I'll use the power and then just flow through the corner. So that's, yeah. And I'll probably test the limits, hit a few tires, trying to cut it as tight as I can. But I think it's important to push the limits because that's how you know where they are. So, and just have fun, I guess, and maybe, yeah, just have fun.
Yeah, I think that's the most important. I know, you know, at every Gymkhana you'll hear the guys say, rule number 1, just have fun. And that's the bottom line, because you know what? Gymkhana is a place for guys that want to be competitive, like Leon and Nikkie and Byron and the rest of the guys. You know, these are guys that are really competitive, and then there are guys that are just there for fun. And there's place for both. You know, there's place for everybody.
I'm just a liar because, you know, I only have fun when I win. So I say I have fun, but I'm coming to have fun. I'm actually just coming to win. So
you know what? And that's the spirit. That's the spirit. And you'll see. I mean, and you're gonna see. I mean, there's a. You know, there was one of the most. I don't think Leon mentioned earlier. There's a guy by the name of Anton Smith, and his son drives well, Andre Smith. He's got this little Nissan 1400 bakkie with a stock standard 4AGE twin cam motor that revs to 20 million. I don't know, that thing revs forever. And that car is that thing he built in his backyard. That thing is so impressive for a rear-wheel drive bakkie. It is so impressive, and those are the type of guys that you meet up and see. But check what this guy's doing and how quick he is. And then you kind of get the understanding of what the Gymkhana is about. It's about a group of guys that are really there just to have loads of fun and help each other. And that's the most important part that I found with the Gymkhana is the guys are there for each other. You know, there's competitiveness, yes, but there's also huge camaraderie, and that's the lacquer part of Gymkhana. So you are definitely in for a treat on Saturday, Nian. I promise you that. Going over to Nick, this rivalry between you and Waseem. Okay, so what are your expectations for Saturday?
You know, it's my first Gymkhana with you guys. So I'm just going with the mindset to have an absolute ball of fun. If I manage to place well within the category, fantastic, great. But at the end of the day, as long as I beat Waseem, I'm happy.
That's good. Yeah, he's got a little advantage over you that he has driven before. He's driven
it's okay. He's only got one lung, so it's you know, it's all right.
Oh my word. I'm looking forward to this rivalry on Saturday. Really, I am. Byron, just in your closing comment. I'll come to Nikki and Leon. Your closing comments for Saturday. You driving as well. What are your expectations for Saturday, Byron, and what advice for the guys out there for Saturday?
Yeah, first of all, you know, I prayed for a whole bunch of Toyota Conquests to come and join us, but instead a whole lot of Toyota 86s came and joined us. So obviously I didn't say Conquest loud enough, but no. All jokes aside, I think it's a great thing. You know, what happens is the more cars of all types. I like an eclectic bunch, you know, as well. You need all shapes and sizes, all types of power curves, everything, you know, you just name it. And I think what happens is if you're not going to have fun doing it, it's not worth doing it. So that's what it's all about for me. And it can't be overstated. Fun all the way, whether I finish dead last or finish second last. It will be having fun. There we go. So I'll be maybe one of the least powerful cars in the field. So I'll be the happy tail ender. There we go.
You know what? That's actually quite interesting because you always have fun, regardless of what happens. You're the one, and you know what? A lot of people have actually joined Gymkhana because of you, because you come there with a stock standard 1300 Toyota Taz that you drive home afterwards, and people are so impressed they come and drive their standard cars. And that's really what Gymkhana is about. You can come with the most highly modified car, or you can come with the most normal street car. Yeah. So
I'm happy, Abdul, to be an inspiration. It would be nice if there were royalties coming with it, but I won't put my hand up over there, you know. Just joking over there.
Yeah, just final comments, Leon and Nikki. Advice for the newcomers and for the spectators, no spectators, but for the guys that are going to be watching the live streaming. Well, they're kind of spectators, but home spectators. What are your guys' expectations for Saturday?
it's like you said. The motto is just have fun. The opportunity is there. We're very excited to come and drive again. It's the first one for the year. So not only for the newcomers, for us as well. I mean, we had quite a long stage of rest now. And unfortunately, I have to dust down the car because it's been standing for almost 3 months. So, and I had to rush to sort the brakes out now. But that's part of the fun. So, I promise you, whatever happens on Saturday, we must just have fun. So especially for the newcomers, we are so excited for the new bloodline that's coming to the sport. So we want to accommodate them. We're going to help them wherever we can. I mean, they can start with changing my tires. I can show them exactly how the jack works. we want to let them feel welcome, so that's the problem. So especially the 86 owners, we must have them, to understand what's motorsport about. Nick, I'll show you exactly where I park.
I forget, don't worry. I get lost going to the shop. I won't find your car. It's okay.
So no, thank you, Leon. As usual, we always leave the best for last. Nikkie, jy is die mooiste op die show vanaand en jy is die slimste en die mooiste. Wat kan jy vir ons vertel?
I actually, Leon talked about the new bloodline now, welcoming all the newcomers and everything, but I actually want to urge the ladies to come and join us as well. There's a stigma around the world of motor racing that it's a boys' world, only for the guys, and it's really not the truth. Girls can just have just as much fun as the boys. I'm lucky enough that I have a carry-around mechanic that goes with me, so if there's something wrong with my car, it's like, fix it. And I go on with whatever. So that helps. But I really want to urge the ladies to participate as well, because you guys, all your wives and everything, bring them with. Let them try it. It's. I think everyone is scared to do it the first time. But when you start doing it, it's so nice, and it improves your driving skills as well. Just the way you're driving just around town, with all the turns and all that kind of thing. So it helps a lot. And then the other thing is to get your whole family involved. Me and Leon's got the privilege now that our oldest daughter is 10 years old. So she's going to become, as soon as COVID is over, she's going to become my navigator, my permanent navigator. So we're trying to make this a whole family sport. So I want to really urge everyone, make your family part of this. It's a awesome experience. We love it. It's something that we do together. And so, yeah, that's my that's actually very sound advice. And that's the first thing I picked up from Gymkhana when I started, was the family, the camaraderie, the family atmosphere. Besides the fact that you brought your own family, every competitor is family. And that's what made me feel so good. And I definitely know that Nian, I think Lauren's your wife, Nian?
Yeah.
Yeah, when I found earlier on you were in the shower, and she said she's definitely there, and she's definitely driving a BMW.
In the shower?
No. Wait. Let me just clarify.
Yeah, Abdul.
Wait, let me just clarify. This is what Lauren said. Nian is going to be my navigator. I'm driving that BMW on Saturday. So you are in for a huge surprise, Nian.
I would love to see it.
Okay. There the deal is on. We'll allow her to do a couple of stints in that BMW. Come on, Lauren. She probably can hear in the background there. We'd love her to drive the car. But guys, that's what it's about. So, and I'm going to try and get you guys maybe to do one practice session on each route before you actually do your runs. It'll be nice just to get to know something before we time you guys. That'll be quite lekker there on Saturday as well. So, guys, thank you so much for being on the show, each and every one of you. I could have spent an hour with each and every one of you talking about all these things. But it was so good to get a different insight to all the different, from the different aspects, from the complete new guys to the guys that are doing other forms of motorsport, from, people that have driven Gymkhana for a long time. So, guys, we're looking forward to seeing you on Saturday. The racing starts at 3:00, but obviously you need to be there at 1:45, because the track's not available in the morning because of there are some other practices happening there. and we've got to set up the route still. And if you guys are there early, we get things going, we can get done, get things running smoothly. And yeah, so I'll hope to see you guys all on Saturday, especially Waseem there. I don't know, he's probably doing some push-ups and stuff, getting fitter for Saturday. I don't know what he's doing, but I wish him well, and I hope he's, he gets well soon. And all the viewers out there, thank you for joining us tonight. Thanks for my co-host Byron as usual, and Leon and Nikki, bye, donkey. Nian, thank you so much, and Nick, thank you so much for being with us tonight. Thanks for your time, and we see you guys soon. And thanks, Kyle, for making everything happen in the background there. Thank you so much, guys. Chat to you soon, and see you on Saturday.
Ciao.
Cheers,
guys. Cheers.
Bye.